Kevin Swanson is a fundamentalist Christian and a radio host, and he did a segment where he lambasted California and said they deserved their recent wildfires.
But it was the year that California introduced 10 textbooks into public schools that turned sodomites, that is, men from Sodom doing what men from Sodom like to do, and turning pedophiliacs and homosexuals into heroes. And that was the point of the 10 textbooks that were issued for the first time. I believe that Jerry Brown signed the bill that encouraged homosexual indoctrination in California public schools for 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds. And that came into fruition this year for the first time. 10 textbooks introduced into California public schools that presented pedophiliacs and homosexuals as heroes for 6-year-old kids, 8-year-old kids, 10-year-old kids, and 12-year-old kids. This was the year that happened. It also happened to be the year that God brought the most severe possible judgment on California, at least to this point in California's history, destroying some several 100,000 acres, would have been closer to 400,000 acres of, and tens of thousands of homes, and creating some $180 billion worth in damage. It was the year that California charter schools invited transgender kids in and persecuted kids who used the wrong pronouns for little boys who were trying to turn themselves into little girls, or little girls that were trying to turn themselves into little boys. It was the year that American children were persecuted by schools for not worshiping at the temples of transgenderism.
Temples of Transgenderism is the name of my garage band, so thanks for the shout out. How disconnected is this guy from reality? So there's a few points to make about this. First of all, the idea that textbooks in California are now, covering homosexuality and treating it like it's normal, good. Good. In a certain percentage of the population, there are going to be gay people. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And you should teach people, yeah, the differences are fine. It's fine if you like somebody of the opposite sex, but your friend likes somebody of the same sex. It doesn't matter. It's meaningless. That's what the textbooks say, I'm sure. He lies and says, oh, they make them out to be heroes, and they put down the straight people. And then he goes on to say, well, they're glorifying pedophiles. I would bet any amount of money they do not glorify pedophiles. This is the shit that they make up. They fucking make it up. They make it up. But the more important point is, wait a second, you're the people who just were fucking talking about how much you love Roy Moore and you went to go vote for Roy Moore. Well, there's a fucking pedophile. They attack the left for being sympathetic towards pedophiles, and then they are sympathetic towards pedophiles, and they go vote for one. So that's fucking projection 101, man. But imagine God really is the way that he describes it. Like God is sitting there, like, you treated gay people equally in books. I will now send a wildfire that destroys thousands of homes and a tremendous swath of land and does untold billions of dollars worth of damage. That's your God? You're not making a strong case for your God, man. You're making a strong case for people to despise your God. That sounds more like Satan. God, California treats gay people equally. God sends deadly fires to ruin people's lives. Wow. If that's God, then maybe everybody should look to Satan, because Satan wouldn't do that now, would he? It's just so backwards, man. Their moral code is so disgusting. They're saying, hey, you deserve it. California, you deserve it. Your liberal attitude, you deserve it. You deserve it. Well, let me ask this guy this. What about Texas? What about the flooding in Houston? Texas is a very conservative state. There's horrible flooding in Houston. So many lives destroyed as a result of it. Did they deserve it? Did they deserve it? Here's my take. None of them deserve it. These are tragedies across the board. And of course, that has nothing to do with God sending punishment. That's nonsense. That's voodoo, fundamentalist shit. Neither one of them deserve it. But this guy, he looks at every single disaster in a liberal state and blames the liberalism of that state for the disaster and says, God happens to agree with me and wants to destroy liberals. By the way, very loving of you that that's how you look at, oh, you fucking are okay with gay people? You deserve to be destroyed. But when it's conservatives, they don't say anything. Shh. Oh, God destroyed a conservative state. But it must be because of the liberals again? Oh, come on, man. So, these guys are pathetic, and hopefully nobody's listening to them.